Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another episode of Haikyu, episode 14. Last time on Haikyu, our team lost. Unfortunately, they lost the match against Nekoma. But even with the loss itself, we've seen a renewal of their rivalry, which seemed to have passed. We had a flashback with Coach Nekomata and Coach Yukai, where he got the news that Coach Yukai was retiring, and then subsequently he fell ill after coming out of retirement, and he seems to be quite happy that he's found some untapped talent in these new Karasuno members, and he feels confident that their rivalry has now officially been renewed. He's of course posed a challenge to young Coach Yukai, who has some work to do himself. All the while, we've been focusing a bit on the players themselves, but we tend to forget that the coach himself is very much inexperienced. He's a first year, much like our other new players, and he does have a lot to learn. But the good news is, with that challenge that he received from coach from Nekomata, he's decided to actually take on coaching them full time, or at least that's what he hinted at. He said he wants to defeat him on a stage that matters. So he wants to meet him at nationals and hand them a defeat, in that huge venue, right? So that's good news for them. Officially have a young coach Yukai, and it's not just the two teams that have fun rivalry as well, but also Kenma and Hinata to some extent. Hinata himself is trying to get Kenma so excited about the sport because he's just kind of going through the motions, but still being quite good at it. So he said, next time we meet, I'm going to make you desperate to actually win so that you'll be excited about the game. So, and that's something I'm looking forward to seeing. It's interesting that it's the dynamic between Hinata and Kenma that we followed for this match, and not so much setter versus setter. Even though they did highlight the differences between Kageyama and Kenma, but Kageyama was in his head the whole time. After the match, trying to think how to approach Kenma. Kenma, like the cat that he is, he just pounced away. So that was really hilarious to watch. But I mean, Nekoma is definitely a mirror image of Karasuno to some extent. The difference only for the most part being with their setter and Hinata, of course. So it'd be interesting to see how they progress. Which ones will actually make it to nationals first. But before that, our team has a lot to actually work on. He praised our wing spikers, of course, Asahi and Tanaka, but while they have a lot of prowess where offense is concerned, they do need to work on their receives. They do need to work on their defense. Nishinoya alone is basically carrying them now, which is isn't how it should be. So I don't know what comes next. They said they have some training to do, I think, but where do we go from here? I'm at a complete total loss as to where we go from here. We're going to prepare for nationals. I'm assuming. This is, after all, the third year's last year, so they've got to get there now, or who knows what may happen. So, episode 14, let's check it out. Don't underestimate any team. Oh, it can't be Hinata. He's too old. Or Hinata is too young, so it wouldn't be him. Okay. I've just called him Daichi at this point. I keep forgetting that that's his family name. Practice, guys. I don't mind a rivalry with Nekoma, but I mean, I'm sure there are stronger schools out there. Best to keep your eyes on the ball, guys.
今年の高校生で特に注目ってなってる全国の3人の中に白鳥沢の牛若が入ってんだよ。白鳥沢って影山が落ちたとこ。うるせえ。
That's supposed to be the best school, right? Moana 8.
これぞまさにエースって感じだよな。
You're throwing shade at Asahi. Come on, come on. Okay, so Nakama is in a different prefecture than they are.
他は去年のベスト4とかっすか？
それももちろんだが、今年は他にも強敵がいる。守りと連携に優れた涌谷南と鉄壁の一言に尽きる伊達君。どこよりも高いブロックを誇るチーム。
These are the guys that, yeah, these are the guys that blocked Asahi before.
伊達校は本来ならベスト4レベルのチームだが、
Yeah, they are
去
terrifying.
年は3回戦で優勝校の白鳥沢と当たってベスト16で終わってる。だから今年はシードじゃない。
Wow, they lost their spot.
そんで次、セッターながら攻撃力でもチーム一。もちろんセッターとしても優秀。おそらく総合力ではトッププレイヤーの及川徹率いる青葉城西。あとは言わずもがな、超高校級エース牛島若俊擁する王者白鳥沢。
He looks intimidating.
と言ってみたものの、上ばっか見てると足をすくわれることになる。大会に出てくる以上、負けに来るチーム
Yeah,
なん
gotta
かいねえ。
focus on the next
全員
match.
勝ちに来るんだ。
They want to play Nakama again, but these guys look just as tough.
みんなまだいる。遅くなってごめん。
Good news, I
会
hope.
議が長引いちゃって。それで出ました。
Okay, he has the
インター
brackets.
ハイ予選の組み合わ
That was fast. I love how we're moving from one event to the next. I know they're excited, but I'm just worried.
沢村は高校どこ？
ガラスの池尻はどこ？
俺は常滑。別々だな。だな。ほんなら、もし俺も高校でバレエ続けるとしたら、
続けろよ。
高校で戦うこともあるかもな。
Challenge accepted. Yeah. Friends or no friends, you know, he's gotta be determined to win. She Daichi's girlfriend? Okay, she's captain of the girls team. Okay.
私もきつく言うの苦手でさ。
I don't see that.
やば。
もしも相手が絶対かなわないような強敵だとしても勝とうとしなきゃ勝てない
You
よ。
have to have the right attitude first and foremost before anything else.
まあ首相同士だし、俺には何言っても聞かなかったことにしてやるよ。
甘やかすなよ。
Jesus.
よし、大丈夫。もう大丈夫。
I'm glad we're sort of spotlighting Daichi for a bit. Sometimes I forget just how integral he is to the team itself. That's how cool he is. He needs to get over that mental block that he has. And here's the perfect person to help him do it.
西野や大丈夫だってば。俺逃げないから。
They're gonna run off again. Good.
今度こそ胸張って。俺がカラスノのエース
That's Asahi I like to see.
サイン。俺は影山みたいにドンピシャっていうトスを上げる技術はないから。
That's what he was working on when
次
he,
は
on
こう
the
いう攻
covers
撃
a
で
few
行くよっていう
episodes
サ
back.
インを出したいんだ。
Back attack. I don't think we've seen our team use a back attack. Why are you naked, Tanaka?
もうすぐ大会だろ。で、そこに可愛い彼女とか来てさ。
Of course. That's his priority.
大会だね。
Way to have your priorities straight,
何
Tanaka.
かできないかなって一生懸命
This
考
is
えて。
Inoshida,
これ
right?
作ってきたの。
Yeah, just walk away, Inoshida.
リュウ君、明日
The
は
hell?
頑張って。
そんなこと言っているうちにレギュラーもらうか。ナイスキー。ナイス、東さん。
あずまね、
はい。
お前バックアタックは得意か？
お
おーい、お前たちも
Well,
ちょっ
if
と
she's not, it's time to learn. They need new weapons to go up against that attack again, especially Sage. Wow, he's a hard worker, and I don't think he's getting paid for this job.
攻撃パターンってたくさんあるんですね。これ全部使うんですか？
Or is he getting paid? I don't know if it was an unofficial thing.
でも俺たちまで目の前の試合にいっぱいいっぱいになるわけにはいかないからな。
走り出すタイミング覚えといてな。
はい。
違うパターンも練習したいってことですか？
ほら、もう居残り終われ。
Yeah, he must be feeling left out.
すみません。今
Yeah,
日
it's
も
one of the community players, right?
カラスのバレー部の山口と言います。
Is it everyone from the community team is working in retail?
ジャンプフローターサーブ教えてもらえませんか？
Oh, okay. We see exceptions this year with the Kageyama and Hinata. I'm sure you can be in as well. At least Yamaguchi is doing something. Sugishima is just chilling. Training montage. Yeah, I'm loving this. I love that we're not spending too much time on, you know, I don't want to say trivial things, but you know, things that aren't too pivotal to the actual story, and we just move things along to the actual training or practice or actual matches. They're spotlighting the girls volleyball team quite a bit. Beautiful moon out. Oh, wow. Inter highs the next day. Okay, let's go. Yeah, not pep talks. You rarely speak at all.
先生お願いします。
任せて。せーの。
Oh, their own banner.
こんなのあったんだ。
Fly. One word, sweet, short. I love it. She's gonna grace us with her words.
頑張れ。
That's it. Even Daichi.
一回戦絶対勝つぞ。
And Daichi doesn't even usually get worked up. Ah. And here they are again, except this time on the same team.
お前を倒すのは絶対俺。
It's gonna be rather difficult though, since Kageyama is the starting setter and the setter doesn't get rotated out. So, gonna be a bit difficult to beat him at that.
それが日本のてっぺんでも世界でも。
世界。
Something that would be interesting to see would be whether or not both of them actually end up splitting up at some point, you know, maybe even transferring to a different school or something. All right, episode 14. Yeah, my last comment there, you know, just rolling around in my mind. What if they end up on different teams in a later season or something? What would that be like? You know, right now the team is so dependent on them as a pair. As good as Kageyama is, the team isn't as effective if Hinata is not there working with him, and vice versa. Hinata is not as good without Kageyama either. So it'll be interesting to see if they get split up later on. Just something to think about, I suppose. But I mean, this episode focused primarily on their training, what needs to happen, the upcoming preliminaries for their prefecture. I need to work out how the prefectures are actually set up. How many prefectures are there in Japan? Because I only realized during this episode that Nekoma is in a different prefecture than Karasuno is. So they may not necessarily face them until nationals. So I just need to get my bearings right in terms of how many prefectures there are, and yeah. But we, in showing us the brackets, they kind of highlighted some of the strongest teams in this prefecture that they will have to worry about. Date Tech being one of them, who we got a glimpse of before with Asahi a few episodes back. And they're being the reason why he left practice to begin with, because all his attacks kept getting blocked. And I mean, what has changed now? He says no. He has, he knows his team has his back. Right? They know the good thing is that they now have a decoy. Right? They now have Hinata. And using that to their full advantage, they can create an opening for Daichi to attack, or for Hinata to attack. So they have more variety now. They have more resources to use. If they build more attacks, and I think that's what the coach was trying to do, trying to teach Daichi how to do a back attack. So the more weapons they have in their arsenal, that's the only way they're going to be able to get around a block like the Iron Wall, because the guys on the Iron Wall appears to be huge. I'm assuming that's why they're called Iron Wall. They're pretty tall guys, and if they could block Daichi, who's the power spiker on our team, then they'll have no problem blocking Hinata. And as for the quick, we've seen a quick get blocked by Nekoma, and if that attack is indeed the Iron Wall, I honestly don't see them having much of a problem blocking Hinata. I think they'll find some way to block that quick. So that attack is one. We were introduced to Shiratorizawa, and I'm blanking on the guy's name now, but the number one ace in this prefecture. Number one ace. So they'll have Shiratorizawa to go up against, and that to take the Iron Wall. They'll have to face Seijo again. And at the moment, I mean, I'm curious to know more about Shiratorizawa, because it seemed as though they knocked the Iron Wall out, from top 4 to I think 16. And that I imagine that's no easy feat to do, since they completely thrashed Karasuno before, and then they went on to actually defeat Seijo and actually win. So yeah. And no, the coach was right. I mean, they've got to keep their eye on the ball, focus on the next match, and not so much who they want to play. They've been fawning over Nekoma, which is great. You have new rivals, but these guys look pretty intimidating. I guess we'll see. And one of the things I liked about this episode as well is a focus back on Sugawara, right? Because I've been worried for quite some time that Sugawara was going to be pushed to the side, as I've mentioned before, because I like the character so much. I think he brings a sense of maturity and experience to the team that they otherwise lack. I mean, Tanaka is not the most mature person that there is. Asahi's a timid bear. Kageyama and Hinata they're talented, but they're first years and quite immature in many respects. So I like Sugawara's strategic thinking to the game itself, and he's been working on these signals for plays that he's going to be sharing with the team, and that's going to be, I'm hoping that's going to be contributing to their actual wins going forward, right? I want him to continue being a part of the team. I want him to continue contributing to the team. So I'd love for that to actually happen. And even as he says, he may not get to play on the courts, you know, as much as he wants, but he'll take what he can get because he loves the sport so much and he loves his team so much. So he's making a sacrifice, and I love that about Sugawara. So, but we have our banner now. We have our team. We did a time skip, a training montage sort of. So I guess we can only hope that, because we didn't see Asahi master the back attack or anything like that. But I'm hoping that in the time that we've skipped that he has done that and our team has gotten better on their receives and such, because the preliminaries begin tomorrow. The entire preliminaries begin tomorrow. Yeah. We did have, I don't know, we saw a glimpse of Tsukishima in his room at home. So I'm curious to know more about what's happening there, or what's the story with him. But we did see his friend Yamaguchi approach one of the community players though for his help to help him learn how to do the float serve, which would be amazing if they manage to do that, because again, our team, while talented, they're lacking in the arsenal department. And I don't think blunt force, just straight up attacking, will get them to the nationals. So they need as many weapons as possible. And short of a server like Oikawa, which they don't have, I think Kageyama is pretty good at serving, but nowhere near the level of Oikawa. But they don't have to focus on power and speed. If they can use the jump floats to kind of, you know, mix it up a bit, that would be something. It would be something. I don't know if he's gonna be able to master that. Some time did pass, but the guy did say that, you know, it would take a while to learn how to do that correctly. I think Yamaguchi is a first year as well, so I think he's probably pretty decent, but I mean, still a first year, doesn't have a whole lot of experience, so hopefully that would be a pleasant surprise in our next matchup, who will be against one of Daichi's middle school mates, Tonokawa or Tonoka or something or another, the school is called. But that would be our next match, and I'm assuming that Karasuno will win them straight out. I think when our team loses, and I don't think they're gonna make it to nationals on their first try with this team that they have, because they've not had a lot of time to practice with this team, to build the trust and the experience and all of that with this team to get to nationals. So I don't believe we'll make it to nationals, but I think we'll get close. So we're definitely beating this team that's coming next, because if we do lose, it's going to be against one of the powerhouse teams. So but it's a match, and as I said before, one of the things I love about this episode and this season so far is that it's not there are no fillers. There are no fillers. It moves very quickly from one story point to the next, and I'm absolutely loving that. So there are no fillers whatsoever. But at the same time, you're still learning about the characters and themselves. Even just showing a snapshot of Tsukishima at home with that jersey there, I can tell, okay, something happened there. Why does he have a jersey up in his room if he hates volleyball? So it's show me, don't tell me sort of approach that the writers have taken. They trust the audience's intelligence to say, okay, we can figure this out without them having to hold their hands throughout the entire endeavor. So I absolutely love that about the show so far. It quickly moves beat by beat, and no fillers whatsoever. So I absolutely love this episode. I can't wait for the next to see our next game against whatever that school is called. So I'm sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the preliminaries.